The Alabama recruiting machine never stops, and the Alabama basketball team, they never seem to stop scoring.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's him. This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. And also, thank you for making this your first listen every single day. You guys are the absolute best. We appreciate you a ton. Trying to get my whole Year on Mute shirt in the frame. And Jimmy, we're going to start off talking about some notes from the Under Armour All-American Camp in Atlanta. I do want to talk basketball, and we're going to do that in the next few segments. But this was a pretty big camp, and Alabama seemed to be some of the buzz. I mean, there were some big names that have Alabama right on the tip of their tongues, even if they're committed somewhere else. And I think we can start with a guy that we have discussed before, and that's Deuce Knight from Lucedale, Mississippi. It sure seems like Alabama is inching closer to potentially getting a flip from him from Notre Dame.
You sort of get that impression. I mean, that's the impression I get. I haven't been told that in terms of, an inside source says this is happening. It's not that situation yet, but just from the outside, you can sense this coming, which it's super interesting. And for those that don't know, there's a big Deuce Knight, Kalen DeBoer connection. Deuce Knight's brother played for Kalen DeBoer at Indiana and was an offensive player when Kalen DeBoer was an OC.
He was great.
Hoosiers. Yeah, really good wide receiver, yeah. So Deuce has a connection there, family connection. So that's really interesting. Now, Deuce is committed to Notre Dame and has been for quite a while, and there is no public indication from Deuce that he's wavering on that in terms of he's not actively visiting other places. He's not talking up other programs, not even really talking up Alabama. And he seems to be sort of a Notre Dame guy right now. But I agree with you, Luke. If I had to guess right now, who's Alabama's 2025 quarterback going to be? My answer is Deuce Knight. BOL is officially projected. If you want to call anything this early an official projection, I'm sure there's going to be a few official projections by the time we get to 2025 signing day. But it certainly does look like Deuce. This means nothing. But it's sort of funny to me that in terms of like how similar, the Deuce Knight DeBoer connection, Luke. How about that the quarterback most people associate with Kalen DeBoer is Michael Penix, who's lanky, 6'3", left-handed. And here's Deuce Knight, about lanky, gonna be about 6'3", left-handed. They're sort of like if you watch high school tape of Deuce Knight, you can sort of see some Michael Penix in there. I think it just sort of stands out, frankly, which is really interesting. But yeah, I think that's creeping closer and closer towards becoming a reality. And Deuce is a really interesting quarterback prospect. Notre Dame, they might not always have a top tier quarterback, but it's not because they don't recruit top tier quarterbacks. Notre Dame usually is recruiting the best quarterbacks in the country, and so, Deuce Knight is no slouch.
No, and, in the end, we can talk about all this all we want to, about how much they're talking to one another, about how much there's a great connection. But generally, in the end, in these troubling times, it seems like it's going to come down to NIL money, right? But that's the thing that's so hard to predict, because we don't really know what Notre Dame has to spend or what Alabama has to spend. We have a vague ideas for Alabama, but, you don't really know. So it's so funny how, we can talk about all this positivity, and that's what we're going to do today with other guys too. In the end, it's going to be more about probably who's going to pay the most money.
I think with a lot of, 5-star kids, that's the case. Deuce Knight, not a 5-star, but a national elite prospect. I'll say this about NIL and Deuce. I have no idea. I just know there's a going rate for quarterbacks. It's pretty standard, and it's up there. And if Alabama wants one, that's what they're going to pay, like everybody else does, NIL-wise. But the fact that Deuce is committed to Notre Dame gives me some hope here, because Notre Dame similarly to Alabama and the Georgias, similarly, Notre Dame doesn't have a reputation for a reputation anyway for going above and beyond what's required. So, the implication to me is that Deuce Knight is a signable player because, again, it's not, right now in terms of reputation, there's no way for us to know this, but reputation wise, Oregon, Texas, Ohio State, Miami, they're big payers, maybe even Florida State, Florida to a degree. But Notre Dame, you don't hear Notre Dame like that. You don't hear Alabama like that. You don't hear Georgia like that. So I think the Deuce Knight thing is going to be doable, assuming he's willing to flip. Some kids might just be locked in and they've just made their mind up. Hey, I'm going to play football for Notre Dame. Maybe he's seen Rudy 20 times, and I get it. Notre Dame is a brand. It is a thing. And Marcus Freeman, very popular with prospects, by the way. I think a lot of prospects like Marcus Freeman.
Yeah, I think Marcus Freeman's a good recruiter for sure. But again, and I guess I'm just going to preface this every time we talk recruiting. We can talk about how much somebody loves a campus or a school or a coach or a system, and then it may just all be about money. There were some small notes on Juju Lewis, still committed to USC, still keeping up with Alabama, still plans on visiting again, still out there. Obviously, KJ Lacey's still out there. I don't know if he was at this camp, but just talking about quarterbacks and Alabama for next year. But the other guy that on 3 talked about the most was Justice Terry. And, boy, this guy seems like an absolute monster, a defensive lineman, 5-star. Basically Alabama and Georgia right now. I mean, certainly he's keeping up with other schools too. I know Auburn had an update on him and they feel like they're in the mix. But apparently, according to Justice Terry, he says he's hearing from Bama a lot, and he feels like Georgia and Alabama are right there, 1 and 2 in some order. And he could be bucking for best player in the country, it seems like, next year.
Yeah, I think he's a guy that's going to be one of these 5-star plus. That's the term we use it on 3. And that for those that don't know, what that means is it's a 5-star per every network. All 4 of the significant ratings expert groups on 3, Rivals, 24/7, and ESPN. If all rank a kid 5 stars, we give them a 5-star plus designation, and Justice Terry seems like he's going to be one of those guys. There's very few, by the way. I mean, for those that keep up with it, I mean, each organization hands out 32 or 35 stars roughly. But in terms of who makes 5-star plus, you're talking about 15, 16 guys. And those are no doubt the top 15, 16 prospects in the country. Justice Terry is going to be in that group, it seems. The question with him and recruiting is he's committed to Georgia. Is that a done deal? Is everybody wasting their time? Alabama doesn't think so at this juncture, that it is a waste of time. So Alabama is going to continue to recruit him as long as he'll listen. And so far he is. We'll see. But committed to Georgia, safe money. I mean, money bet would be Georgia Bulldogs here. But, an in-state player for Georgia, they're tough to beat for the Georgia kids. They offer early and hone in on.
I mean, we say that we've beaten them before, and again, it's. I mean, I hate to do the dollar sign thing, like what's his name from Texas A&M.
If he decides, hey, this is going to be all about NIL, I'm not sure he'd sign with Georgia or Alabama. It's going to be
sign with the Patriots.
It's going to be, yeah, exactly. Oregon or the NFL with G League Ignite. Yeah.
Okay. Jimmy.
Real Madrid.
That would be awesome if, like, Justice Terry were just playing soccer for Liverpool next year. All right, Jimmy, when we come back, we're going to keep running down some of these prospects because there were some big names here. But, of course, I want to tell you about LinkedIn. Look, when you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. It gives you access to professionals you can't find anywhere else. LinkedIn does all that while making the process easy and intuitive. And hiring is so easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have the time or resources to hire. They have 2.5 million small businesses using LinkedIn for hiring. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Post your job for free. Terms and conditions, they're going to apply. So some other names from this Under Armour camp. One that is very familiar to Alabama folks, an Alabama kid from Elba, running back Alvin Henderson. And, I'll tell you the truth, Jimmy, I had sort of surrendered him to Auburn. I mean, I just thought Alvin Henderson would be going to Auburn. But it feels more and more like Alabama's involved here pretty seriously. Like it's not even just a legit shot. I mean, I feel like Alabama's up there as much as anybody right now.
Yeah, this is a weird one. And I agree totally, Luke. We were on the same page. I remember saying earlier that, hey, I mean, I think this is probably an Auburn kid. But
because we got Turbo, and so you're thinking we got Turbo, they get Henderson. I mean, okay, and really, I mean, looking at them, I kind of feel like it's 6 and 1, half dozen another.
Yeah, they're sort of similar.
They're very similar, and they're both very good. And if you told me I'm getting one of them, I'm happy. If you told me getting both of them, I'm ecstatic. But I'm just saying it certainly felt like this guy was just, all over for Auburn, and now it feels like Alabama's right in the thick of this mother.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Here's a weird thing to say, and I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but I mean it. We seem to be in better shape with him under the new staff than we did the old staff. That doesn't mean that the new staff were better recruiters. I can't help but think, but maybe the new staff likes Alvin even more than the old staff. Or maybe the old staff was like, hey, we got Turbo. Now let's swing for the fences and go get one of these 5-star plus backs to go with him. Whereas this new staff is more like, hey, here's an in-state kid that we think's really good. We're going to try to sign every really good in-state kid. And Alvin is a good player. I mean, to me, he is absolutely a top 10 player, in the state of Alabama. These 1A kids are very difficult evaluations. They really are. But Alvin's, it's not just the numbers. I think you watch him play, looks like it's, the speed is legit. But yeah, I agree with you, Luke. I'm not going to project just yet Alvin to Alabama, but I'm backing off entirely of what I said earlier about, hey, Turbo's Alabama and Alvin is going to go to Auburn. I'm backing off that entirely. I think it's very, very possible that Alabama ends up with both Turbo and Alvin in this class. Now, if we had to bet, maybe I'd still lean Auburn, but it's not like it was before. I'm with you, Luke. I think this is pretty wide open. Obviously, other schools are recruiting Alvin Henderson as well. He's one of the nation's top 10, top 12 backs, maybe top 20.
And I'm gonna feel like in-state kids like Alvin Henderson, even though I saw Penn State and some FSU mentioned with them, I'm gonna go ahead and go out on a limb and say in-state kids are going to be more Alabama Auburn-esque for the foreseeable future, because I think this staff will probably lean at least out, trying to keep more Alabama kids at home. Saban cast such a wide net. And then Auburn, of course, has made that a priority. And they've got a guy that can recruit now. So I think that will be the case. A couple other in-state guys. I mean, there were notes from On3 that did a great job on several of them. But Jared Smith, who had transferred from Spain Park to Thompson, was there. He's talking about how Alabama certainly is keeping in touch with him a lot. He really enjoyed the development of Dallas Turner and Will Anderson. Zion Grady, who was a former Alabama commitment, he apparently had a great camp. And then Micah DeBose looked really good as well. And he talks about how he's certainly staying in contact with everybody. Out of those three, Jimmy, how would you rank the possibility of each one of those guys committing to Alabama? I mean, I would probably go Zion Grady. DeBose and Jared Smith is close. I mean, to me, I'd probably go Smith, DeBose, but I mean, I can flip-flop.
I agree. I'm with you. Boy, we're agreeing a lot today on recruiting. Zion first. I know he decommitted from Alabama, and now he's open. I think Georgia is a real threat with Zion Grady. Georgia's a real threat to sign anybody right now, right? But Zion, I think Alabama could get him back on board. I think it's going to take some spring visits for Zion to feel like that he's a top priority and that it's still the same old Alabama. I think that's what some kids will have a question about until they get on campus, meet all the new coaches, see how they fit in scheme wise. And then it'll feel like, okay, this is still the same old Alabama. I like Alabama's chances with Zion, but it is more wide open than it used to be. I would also rank Jared Smith as second most likely, even though I think this is true. I don't want to say this hand on the Bible, but I'm pretty sure I don't know that the new staff has offered him. Now, to me, I've seen the kid. I think it's a matter of time. I think it's just a matter of time before they do. I'm sure they're still working on evaluating players and watching the film multiple times. I haven't seen any of these kids in person since they just got here. But Freddie Roach recruits that area, is one of our best recruiters. I would think Jared Smith to Alabama is highly realistic. In turn, I'm not ready to make like a projection yet, but highly realistic. Micah DeBose is going to be very difficult to sign. I think NIL is going to be a big factor there. I think he's going to be highly sought after by a lot of big programs nationally, although I think ultimately it ends up being an Alabama-Auburn thing. Let's see where he feels most comfortable. I think early on, Luke, this was Alabama pretty solidly. Then it became an Auburn thing. And by the way, this is all after his super early commitment to Georgia. So I guess actually initially it was Georgia. But then I think, hey, I'm flipping from Georgia because I want to go to Alabama. And then he became a little enamored with Auburn, sort of, December-ish. I think it's going to be hard to reel him back in, though possible. Don't rule that out. Interesting player. I'm a big Micah DeBose fan. I'm curious to talk to on and off the record, to be honest. Talking to my man, JoJo Hastings, who was on site today doing these interviews, taking video. Hastings has a pretty good eye himself. I want to know what he really thought about DeBose, seeing him up close and in person.
All right, Jimmy, when we come back, it's time to talk some basketball. I mean, I'm so thrilled with this basketball team, and I was there yesterday, so I'm looking forward to talking about it. Right now, though, I want to tell everybody about FanDuel. Love me some FanDuel. You love you some FanDuel. Look, get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets or live same-game parlays. Those are awesome. Or exclusive props. Much, 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 much more. I'm telling you, this thing has everything you want. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's all one word. FanDuel.com/lockedon. And FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. So before we jump into basketball, just want to say shout out to the baseball team. They got the sweep. Right, Jimmy?
Yep, sure did. Gave up a lot of runs today, but still scored more. 11-8 they won today, so a 3-game sweep over Manhattan.
I assume it's your day 3 starter, so, I mean, you're going to give up some runs with that dude.
Correct.
So, correct. Softball looking good still.
Yeah, 10-0.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking really good. So, very happy about both of those things. Now I've got to talk basketball. Look, I was super, super impressed. And by the way, Alabama women's basketball gets the win over Auburn today. So that was
had to come back. They were down big time. Yeah. Came back and won.
Yeah, so that was big. Super impressed with Alabama this weekend. I mean, just first of all, kudos to everybody who showed out. It wasn't exactly a packed house. I mean, because Coleman's hard to pack out. Let's just call a spade a spade. But there was a great crowd. I thought it was we honored the 04 team that went to the Elite Eight. I thought, having Antoine Petway there, having Noah Clowney there, it was just nice. Herb Jones was there. It was nice. It was nice to have all those folks there and have like a sort of a reunion of sorts. And then let these guys know, like, man, y'all are cared about, and this program means something. So, but back to the game itself, Alabama just looks so good, man. When we get it rocking, it's tough to beat us. Now, I mean, that you can say that about anybody. I mean, I got some friends that are big Auburn fans, and they were talking about after the South Carolina game, like, if we play like that, we'll beat anybody in the country. And they're right. But as you said, as you and I have said forever, just like in football, you play your best a couple of times, play your worst a couple of times, everything else in between is what you are. I think what Alabama is a Final Four capable team. Now, they can play their worst in the tournament and get bounced, don't get me wrong. But I'm seeing more and more of the team getting better and playing more consistently versus not looking so good. We didn't look good against Tennessee. We didn't look good against Auburn. Those are tough environments, by the way, on the road. We won't have tough environments on the road in the NCAA tournament. But, the SEC did us some favors yesterday with Auburn losing against Kentucky at home, South Carolina losing at home. I mean, we got a good shot to win this title now, Jimmy. Let's go get us another title. This team's got it. And Mark Sears, dude, if we can 8-pound, 6-ounce baby Jesus, bring this man back to us next year. I'm just telling you, he's a phenom. So much fun to watch. And then Latrell Wrightsell. My 7-year-old daughter just is infatuated with Latrell Wrightsell. Just loves it. She's like, I just love number 12. And like, he pulls up and pops from anywhere. He's really got it going on right now. And Grant Nelson, Mark Sears with one of the best dimes I've seen all year to Grant Nelson for a huge dunk. Sam Walters getting 8 big rebounds. Just so much to be proud of with this team right now. And they're really hitting their stride at a great time. And boy, they're going to need it because the schedule coming up is it's a thing.
You never know about the postseason, and you can be a really good team and not have a good postseason, or you get upset at the wrong time, or you just run into a buzzsaw a little bit like Alabama did with San Diego State, who went all the way to the national championship game, right? And before they lost, reminds me a little bit of, a big Braves fan. 3 years ago, the Braves won like 94 games and were pretty good. They were a good team. And made it to the playoffs. And then once they got to the playoffs, they were like, what is this? They're murdering the ball, played their best baseball of the year in the postseason and won the World Series. And it was so fun because no one in the preseason said the Atlanta Braves would win the World Series. No one did. They thought, hey, that's a pretty good team. They'll probably or very possibly make it the postseason. But once they get there, they're not going to win the World Series. They did. Okay, then the next 2 years, they won like 100 games and then over 100 games. And last year, ask anybody, any baseball expert, who's the best team in Major League Baseball's regular season? The Braves. What happened? They lost in the first round of the playoffs. They've lost in the first round the last 2 years, even though both of those Braves teams were better than the one that won the World Series. But that's what I mean by, gosh, the postseason, I mean, everything rides on it, but anything can happen quickly. In basketball, it's one game. In baseball, it's a short series against clearly an elite team full of major leaguers. That's what this Alabama team could, like Luke said, this team, maybe they're the team. Maybe they are, because all they got to do is get hot and play their best ball in the right game, and they'll beat anybody, even UConn, even Purdue. So, yeah, I think there's hope.
Purdue lost to Ohio State today, by the way. So, I mean, Now that was on the road and all this other stuff. But it as I said this on another show yesterday, like a lot of people wanted this. There's more parity in basketball than probably ever before. Kansas is going on the road and losing all the time. So is North Carolina. A lot of big-time teams, or Purdue goes to Ohio State and loses a team that just – I know they beat us too, but they aren't very good this year. They've fired their coach already. But people wanted this kind of parity. I'm not a big fan of it. I would rather have 4 or 5, maybe 6, 7 awesome teams that everybody's chasing. That's me. But I understand too, like, hey, look, Alabama's got as much of a shot as anybody. You see us on that 3 line or that 2 or either that 4 line, which I think will be one of those seeds, you're going to be like, dang it, that sucks. We got to play them eventually. It's not going to be one of those like, hey, I think we can handle it. Let me give you some other stats. Now, this is from a friend of the program, and I'm going to pull it up right here. Bama basketball history. Soon, I don't know where I did with it. Here it is. Tide Hoops history. At Bama history is his Twitter, and I would implore you to go follow it. Here's some stats he threw out at me. Alabama's averaging 90.7 points per game, which is tied with Arizona right now because Arizona scored 105 against Arizona State yesterday. Alabama's shooting 79% from the free throw line. Remember the days when we used to complain about we can't shoot free throws? We're on pace to set the school record, which is 78.7% from the 86-87 team, maybe my favorite basketball team of all time. And now last year is. Scored its 8th 100-point game this season, which is certainly shattering the old record of 5. And currently in second place in the SEC, trailing only the 95-96 Kentucky team, which had 9 games over 100 or more. He said he's trying to find what the NCAA record is. I saw it. It's something like 22 by Loyola Marymount, so we can forget.
I was going to say Loyola Marymount scored 100, it seemed like every time out in 91.
Yeah, I think they averaged 122 a game.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, here's some other stats. Alabama beat Georgia 85-76, despite trailing by 16 at one point and being out rebounded 39-26. Beat Mississippi State 99-67, despite Mississippi State attempting 32 free throws to Alabama's 10, and beat A&M 100-75, despite being out rebounded 49-38, 26-14 in offensive rebounds. Man, these are great stats. And I'll tell you something, in the crowd, I mean, I hadn't watched the replay yet, but in the crowd, we were all like, get a dang defensive rebound. A&M was cleaning up on the offensive boards. Yeah. But and then that's why I said this the other day, you look up and Alabama's up 15, we're like, how? This goes against everything I've ever learned about basketball. I'm having to relearn basketball because of Nate Oates. I mean, I've always thought, you win games by not giving up offensive rebounds. You win games by, dominating, playing hard defense, dominating in the low post, taking good quality shots. But now with the 3-point, we've sort of figured that out. Like we literally only shoot 3-pointers or layups. And I
think it's the amount of threes they take. It's the amount of threes they take, and their make percentage is really good. And Alabama's making a lot of 3-pointers. That's how they make up for so many deficiencies because of that. And frankly, they're tough to defend. As Buzz Williams pointed out, Alabama can also just drive to the hoop and feel like, just foul them. They're going to make their free throws. So, man, it's a good offensive team. Defensively, again, giving up all those rebounds. But, not all is lost defensively. I mean, they held Wade Taylor. I mean, Wade Taylor didn't go off. I worried about Wade Taylor having a 30-point game against us. That didn't happen. Again, team's really good. We'll see about winning the SEC. I know they're in first place with 6 to go.
It's a tough 6.
one game lead on Tennessee. I'm still not, I guess you would say, I'm still not ready to bet on it. I mean, there's just too many tough games, including the next home game. This is how tough the schedule is, Luke. The next game is home against Florida. And I feel it's the second most winnable game left other than the home finale against Arkansas.
I mean, I feel like Arkansas may mail it in by then. I mean, they're not good.
They're not good.
And boy, I know we all hate to see it because Eric Musselman's such a outstanding, fine gentleman. But
I'll root for Buzz.
I like Buzz. I like anybody who wears half.
He had some nice things to say about Alabama too.
Yeah,
he did. He has some nice things to say about Alabama's team.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Nate
Unlike, it's sort of. I watched the Auburn Kentucky game, and obviously I'm going to pull for Kentucky if they play Auburn, regardless of what situation. But this time I really pulled for Kentucky because it helped Alabama a lot. It gave them a bit more of a lead. Afterwards, I mean, I was kind of Bruce Pearl did give Kentucky some credit. At the same time, he's like, I'm going to send some tape into the SEC office. I was like, for what? I mean, there was nothing egregious. Sometimes tape being sent is warranted, and even bringing it up is warranted if somebody did something malicious. Nobody did anything malicious in that game. In fact, Auburn had fewer fouls and shot more free throws. So, yeah. I mean, I'm just like, and Kentucky had somebody foul out. Auburn didn't.
And it's also semantics, and I think coaches messing with the crowd. Look, I can't swear to this because how I know I'm not there, but I believe what happens is I think every single game the officials are graded by the coaches, and that is sent to Birmingham, and that grade can include tape. In other words, I think this happens every game.
But you don't say it unless you're implying that there was something nefarious. And here's the other thing.
You want your fans to believe, yeah, we're with you. We hear what y'all are saying and we agree. We got screwed. When in fact,
Kentucky dominated from start to finish. Yeah. And again, Auburn's still a great team. There's nothing wrong with it.
Oh, no doubt.
Kentucky goes in there and wins. It's a tough place to win. Kudos on Kentucky. And on the other side, John Calipari comes out and he's like, hey, y'all don't say anything bad about the kids. Y'all say bad stuff about me. And I think most of the reporters are like, yeah, we've been saying bad stuff about you. Have you not been listening? We've been saying it as hard as we can. And I thought that was sort of a gimmicky too. So my point comes back to, I appreciate Buzz Williams coming out and just saying, hey, the atmosphere is good. Their team is good. And we ran into a buzzsaw. I wish more coaches would just say, today we got beat. It wasn't the refs didn't screw us. We didn't have anybody sick. We got beat. And
we complain about the officials. Me and you will complain about officials. We will. Listen to us. If you want to hear complain about officials, okay, listen to me and Luke. We'll complain sometimes. But the 2 SEC games that Alabama's lost, we got our butts kicked. Had nothing to do with the officials. Had nothing to do with the officials. We just played good teams in Auburn and Tennessee at their place and got woodshedded. And did we like the officiating? Probably not, but it didn't.
And here's the thing, though. When you play on the road in the SEC, typically you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt in officiating. So, I mean, Auburn shot 50 free throws against us or something, and that wasn't what did it. We weren't hitting shots. Just say that. It's so disingenuous to blame it on something like the officiating to me. Every now and again, you can feel like the officials gave you the business, but that all comes around, and we've all been on both sides of that.
I'll end on a controversial note, and then we leave. So I'll do controversy, and then we go bye. Sometimes the other guy's just good. Sometimes the other guy is just good, and we lost to Michigan in the Rose Bowl and in overtime, and now the season's over. Michigan has 18 players invited to the NFL Combine. That is the all-time record. Here's a crazy thought. Maybe Michigan's a little better than Alabama. And I know that sounds crazy or maybe shouldn't be said on a Bama podcast, right? But they have an all-time record, 18 players that the NFL deems you guys are ready to play in this league. And I know they're not all first-round picks or anything like that. And I'm not saying Alabama wasn't talented. Alabama's got 10 guys going to the Combine, which is a great number. Plus, Alabama's probably got a better team coming back next year than Michigan does. But I'm just saying, sometimes the other guy's pretty good, and fans at all schools, all places get very myopic about, hey, it's all about us. It's all about our team. If we play well, we should win. Sometimes the other team's good.
It couldn't have said it better myself. And look, maybe it's taken us a month or so to admit that, but I think Michigan was just better. And somebody will say, but we had them beat. Well, we did, but we didn't beat them.
We didn't beat them. I remember this day very clear. I rode a bus to Alabama, Ohio State 2014, which was another semifinal loss to a Big Ten team. And I was the first one to say it on the bus and almost got beaten by a bunch of old people when I said, I'm not so sure we're as good as they are. And now look at that. Look at that Ohio State team. Half of them are still in the NFL.
Yeah, that's right. All right, that's going to do it for today's podcast. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.